When I think about my own life and I listen to the stories of other folks' lives, I hear a lot of interest in affecting personal change. So let's assume that we all have something about ourselves that we want to work at, something we want to change. Here's a little exercise for you to do that might help highlight or illuminate those areas of change that you can identify, so you can then hatch some strategies for growing in those areas of your life. To do this, I want to start with, let's all think about our ideal self. So this is a future self. This is not who we are today. And we want to project it out a little bit. Who's this future self? Who do you want to be? What do you see this future self doing? How does this future self behave? What sort of choices does this future self make? And we have this future self that will be our ideal self that's out there. And wouldn't it be great to be able to call up the future self? Hey, I'm in this situation right now. I really don't know what to do. Can you help? Future self would know how to help. Future self would have great ideas. Well, hey, Chris, you know what? You tend to sit and overthink things. So this is the time to get up and do something, like action. Don't dwell and overthink. You can do this. So having this vision of this future self being an ideal version of who we want to be. And then let's look at who we are. The real self, we'll call that. The today self. Maybe that's better than the real self. The today self. And then compare the today self to the ideal self. This is my little stick self here. Whew. The today self to the ideal future self. And what we want to do is get a piece of paper and write these things down. What's going on with the today self? How would the future self handle these situations? Or what's the future self up to, right? And then look at where you have alignment today. Like, where is that real self aligning with that future self? Maybe that future self is getting up early every morning and meditating and drinking water and taking care of its brain. Maybe the today self does that too. So you have alignment there. So identify all the ways that the today self is aligned with this future self. Those are our strengths. Those are the things that we're crushing. Good job. Keep that up. And then look at where's the misalignment and how far out of alignment are we? Where's the misalignment where today's self is one thing and the future self, the ideal self, is something different. So those gaps represent our areas for growth. Those are the areas we want to target to affect change. And then we want to hatch strategies to get after those changes. So it depends on what it is you want to change in terms of how you're going to go about doing that. But start with this exercise. Reflect on who your today self is. Build this ideal future self. And be bold in building that. Have that future self really represent who you want to be in the future. And then look at the alignment. Good job. Keep it up. And look at the misalignment and hatch some strategies. How am I going to affect change? How can Chris be more action-oriented and break out of the overthinking phase of doing things? I would like to say my future self's not going to do that. How can I affect change there and be more action-oriented? Hope this is helpful. Do it, because when we don't do the things, we don't get the benefits of doing them. But this can be illuminating, so give it a try. I love to hear how it's going for you. So please be in touch. Chris Little at chrislittlecoaching.com. Once again, I'm here to listen and look forward to your progress.